Yo, yo, yo. What's good? What's good? It's Stormybman, and I am back. Welcoming you to the post-fight show / answering the bell with Stormy B-Man for this Sunday, February 1st, 2026. This is a dual show where we're covering both the bouts from this past evening and our Sunday morning call-in, where we are addressing the fights that have transpired, and we're addressing the fights that are on the horizon and overall boxing news. But I'm a little bit rested because last night we were inundated with so many fights, all the way going back to Friday night, really, where Pro Box TV had a card that ran about 4, almost 5 hours. Listen, we can OD on boxing now, family. It's so busy. And there were 3 cards going on yesterday that were overlapping, and all parts of the world: Puerto Rico, the UK, New York. I mean, we got busy. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to talk a little bit about that this morning. It's just, you have to understand, I'm not like you young folks out there now. I can't burn the candle at both ends and be staying up all night and, come out here and present the show in a great manner because Stormy B-Man be sleep. You know what I'm saying? So here I am, having got my rest after last night's bouts. I listened to a little bit of some of the family cook with their post-fight comments, but then I was gone. Out like that light. You know what I'm saying? But I'm happy. We had a great weekend of boxing. We saw some upsets. We saw some things that upset us, huh? And then we saw some things that just made us fall out of our chairs laughing. Yes. And we'll get to it. You know, it's like a stew. You know, that stew has to simmer in that pot, man. And you got all your ingredients in there. And as long as it's been simmering, you can actually point out the scent of each and every vegetable. Oh, those smell like tomatoes. Oh, that's that celery. Oh, those potatoes. Oh, the beef. Man, I'm telling you, it's something. But we think we know what's happening with boxing, and then boxing does something wonderful. Surprises us, gives us something to look at that we hadn't anticipated, man. And let me say this, man. You know, I collaborate a couple times a week with the brother Drew Titan, huh? And I'm not one, I don't like to disturb anybody while they're watching the fights, because I don't like to be disturbed when I'm watching the fights. But I had to call that brother up. And I said to him, I said, man, we're seeing some things that I don't know how to even put it, family, because the theater of the unexpected is not good enough, huh? Saying that simply doesn't really shed light on what we experienced, huh? But let me tell you guys something, man. That heavyweight fight between Jarrell Big Baby Miller and Kingsley eBay will forever go down in the annals of boxing history as one of the most ridiculous, unanticipated, embarrassing, hilarious moments in boxing. This dude, Big Baby Miller, who has really given us nothing to show for boxing for the past several years. First of all, being banned from the sport after testing positive for the umpteenth time when he was scheduled to face Anthony Joshua, when he had a pharmaceutical category of banned substances in his system. Losing his opportunity to fight for the unified heavyweight titles. Huh? Yeah. So in steps Andy Ruiz Jr., who upset AJ and became the first Mexican heavyweight champion of the world. A fight that possibly could have seen Big Baby at that time defeat Anthony Joshua, who was vulnerable. But let me tell you something. If that wasn't a big enough L, huh? When he finally came back to boxing, he fought Andy Ruiz, which was interesting. He got a decision in that fight, which I don't really know if he won that fight or not. Who gives a, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, he was slated last year to face Trump. Now, those of you who follow the channel know I affectionately call and refer to Fabio Wardley's truck because he got a truck of a head on him. You know what I'm saying? Look like you could hitch that tow bar right there and go on and be Mr. U-Haul. But anyway, I digress. Listen, man. Listen. He had to pull out of that fight for still reasons undisclosed, huh? So we don't even know. Fabio went on to fight Justice Hooney, knocked him out in a spectacular KO fashion coming from behind because he was losing on points. And in a result that ended up being part of a Fight of the Year candidate for Ring Magazine, Fabio prevailed. So he took another L in that situation. But there was nothing like last night's fight with Kingsley eBay. Now, eBay lost this decision to Big Baby, and I think because he ran out of gas and probably stamina depleted from him when what happened during the fight happened, because it had to be one hell of a distraction, huh? No distractions since Fan Man decided to enter Bo Holyfield 2 in Caesar's Palace, huh? Where he came in with his hand gliding parachute, huh? Like he came out of Jimmy Wong Yu's The Man from Hong Kong. You got to be a kung fu film enthused to understand what I'm saying with that reference, because the film opens with a hand glider, person in that movie in the opening credits. But anyway, Fan Man crashed the party at Holyfield Bo 2. That was one of those things where people were like, man, what the devil? But last night, people, I was behind the scenes with the family, huh? And the brother 78 said, Big Baby Miller, what kind of haircut is that he got? He said, what kind of haircut? It looked like they just put a bowl on the top of his head and shaved the edges. Which it did, huh? He said maybe they got some jacked up barbers in the UK, because we've seen, people like Dillian White and AJ show up to fights, and you be wondering, man, they couldn't get a line up, they couldn't get a fade, they couldn't sharpen those edges or whatever. It's like, what's going on with the barbers in the UK, huh? Anyway, flash forward to an exchange of infighting, and eBay threw a series of punches with an uppercut that kind of hit Big Baby on the top of the head, up toward the hairline, right? And his shit looked crooked. But that was not it, folks. Because when you tell somebody, man, I'll go upside your head, I'll knock you crooked, huh? Yeah, we say stuff like that. We grew up saying stuff like that. Especially if you're black, you're in the black community, you play the Dazns, you always say something. Somebody could have a jacked up hairline, you say something about that or whatever. But this dude, it ended up being revealed, Big Baby Miller had a man unit on, y'all. The dude had a toupee on. No. Listen, if you look at this picture closely, if you're watching on your TV, you can see it real good. But if you got your phone in your hand, expand the picture and zoom in on that right there. My man shit was waving in the breeze like this. His shit was going. That's all, folks. I could have sworn I saw a little tiny cape on that thing, ready to fly away. What in the hell? Listen. No, man. No. How do you come in? No. Dude, I ain't seen nothing like that since Looney Tunes, huh? Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, all of them shit. My man had a retractable roof. Yeah, you know, if you seen the Dallas Cowboys play that stadium, they got the partition that opens up. Big baby shit flew off, man. You ever seen a rug go flying in the wind? This dude, wait, and that ain't the half of it, y'all. Because when you heard me make the Looney Tunes reference, right? Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, all them guys, right? Now, I don't know if you guys will be able to see this. But Daffy Duck has always done some goofy stuff in the cartoons, huh? And when Daffy loses and sometimes get his head peeled or whatever, there's an image that comes to mind. And I sent this to the family. I hope you guys can see this. But look at this picture of Daffy Duck and the top of his head. Y'all see that right there? That was Big Baby Miller. Oh my goodness. Wait a minute. Wait. And when the hair came off, right? Listen. The rest of his scalp didn't match his skin tone of his body. His shit looked like it was sheared, scalped by one of them Mohawks. The last of the Mohicans. They chopped his shit off. His shit was pink on the top. Oh, no. Listen, man. I could not hold and maintain my discipline, man. I lost it. I fell out laughing. I didn't care about none of the rest of the fights or nothing else for the rest of the night, man. That was the most crazy, outrageous. Then the fool tried to play it off at the end of the fight, and he's interviewing. He's embarrassed. Yeah, you should be embarrassed because you know what? You're a fool, huh? And not only is Big Baby Miller a fool, you guys, he a damn fool. You know when you talk to somebody and you call them a damn fool, huh? That's the lowest point of foolery that you could be at. What is that, bro? His shit was pink on the top. And wouldn't they have it, Fabio Wardley was sitting ringside. And he had the damn thing in a seat right next to him. He picked it up like, what the fuck is this? Oh my goodness. Oh. No. Listen, man. Only thing, I wish my brother, the dearly departed Kurt Sugar, could have been here for that, man. It probably would have sent him away. That was so funny. Oh my goodness. You guys, anybody who saw that live, huh? I can't even say. It's like I don't even have the words, man. I don't have the words. Anyway, good morning, you guys. Good morning. Let me see who we got out there in the chat, man. Let me see who we got. We got Jamal Davis doing double duty over there on Rumble as well as on YouTube. What's happening with you? Joe Gagliardi is out there. What's happening? Mr. Shelton in the building. Ravens Nation. Universal Truth. King Corleone, where you been? Anthony Latham. Columbia's out there. Dale Riv. Welcome down. Van Hood is out there. Kamara, the Stepping Razor. Chiquila Fields out there this morning. Salute to you. NBA D Nice. Royal Constrictor. Chris Keeps Boxing. Jimmy Bernard. Forge Y2. Macaholic. Who else we got out there? 88 Sports Talk. Oh, man. Anthony Bolton. Junior the Truth. Junior, I know you was clowning on that one, bro. I know you had to be clowning on that, man. Who else we got in the building? I see a lot of people still cracking up on that too. Isaiah GQ, what's good? Oh man. Thomas is in the building. How you doing? What's good with you? Who else we got out there? Thomas said he was very embarrassed. I saw him at the diner afterwards. He says he says he didn't want to talk to anyone. Said dude went through the back. Yeah. Man, let me tell you something. That was so hilarious to me, man. Jonathan Simon, what's good? Freedom's March, what's good with you? Vermeer is out there. Snoopy Mac, what's good? He says Big Bowley Miller had a 2026 convertible wig. Oh my goodness, man. It was hard for me to recover from that, bro. It was. This fool waited till he was on pay-per-view to really show his behind. That was worse than Mike Tyson showing his behind. It's like they both from New York too, right? Drew, you need to pull your brothers in, man. These guys, when they get ready to do something or say something or go somewhere, say, no. Just have a seat. Have a seat. Have two seats. Man. Man. I don't know, man. I'm still trying to recover from that. I knew I was going to talk about it a little bit this morning, but it's I have to get it out the way, right? Get it out. Because I know people are going to be saying, hey, Stormy, did you see it? I'm like, how could you not? When the moon roof opened up, all you saw was a pink glow out there in the universe. They call it the Eastern Lights or some shit. It's like... See, my old peanut head, but I've been cutting my hair low. I still got some hair, but I say I just cut it on off. That way I save myself some time. You know what I mean? Ain't gonna be no man units or nothing like that. It's just gonna be some bean, huh? That's what it's gonna be. Better get used to it, big baby. Shit. Junior says, who manufactures nappy man units? They must be stopped. I agree, man. I agree. Who in the world is doing that, man? Messing up civilization. Are you serious? That's crazy. Man. Yeah, buddy. That's something, ain't it? That is crazy, bro. That's crazy. Let's see here. Trying to get this thing set up. Because my page is acting up. Let me see if you guys can hear this. I'm gonna test my call-in line. Put a 1 in the chat if you could hear the ringing of the call-in line, family. If you could hear the ring for the call in, put a 1 in the chat for me. Okay, because I had to open another window for that. Because they'd be trying to shut down on me for some reason. But yeah, man. We had so much boxing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open the line up and people can call in. You could talk about whatever you want to talk about. If you want to talk about Big Baby, talk about that. If you want to talk about any of the fights, because we got plenty to talk about, man. There's so much, and I ain't trying to put a restriction on it because a lot of people have done post-fights or fight reactions and stuff already. And I purposely didn't want to do a show last night. I had uploaded that I would do it, But I felt a little tired, man. I'm like, you know what? I can let people, have their moment and shine. So it'll be what it's going to be. But I would like some participation today so we all can have a good time. And I'm ready to, just let it fly, let it rip out there, man. So, yeah. Let's see here. Junior says Big Baby's cap is somewhere in New York City, naked, shivering, and afraid. He says, I knew something was fishy when Big Baby had on that velvet do-rag at the weigh-in. Oh, man. That is crazy. Oh, man. Oh my goodness, bro. Okay, we got the brother Drew Titan in the building. What's going on with you, man? How you feeling this Sunday morning?
Hey, bro, my morning's kind of rough because I'm still recovering,
Yeah.
So had to take these meds, but I had to call in, brother. I had to call in. Brother, when it happened, you called me, and I already knew. And because I'm watching it, and I'm like, what happened to his hairline? And then his hairline started talking. And I unmuted the TV, and the garden went crazy. And then you called me. I said, oh, no, I'm not seeing things because, I'm dealing with, I had that surgery, and I'm like, am I bugging? I'm like, wait, hold on. I picked up my bottle of medication. I looked. I said, wait a minute, what is this? Nope. It was what we saw.
Man.
And the funniest part, I didn't know Truck was in New York. And he said the most exciting part about this fight had nothing to do with the fight. Man, listen, man. Look, I'm sorry. New York, we got to hold that L. I'm sorry, man. I would love to make a trade, but for who, man? But we got to hold that L, man. Listen, man. Look, fellas, ladies and gentlemen, about 6 years ago, my hairline started to run away from my eyebrows. And I would talk to it every morning. I said, look, man, I'm giving you probably like a quarter of an inch more, and we ain't having this. And it didn't listen, so it had to go. So it's gone. I look great. People walking around the street calling me Luke Cage now. That's great. Fellas, let it go. Let it go. When you start trying to do all kinds of tricks, y'all see the $1 million LeBron James and that other brother in the NBA putting all that shoe polish in their hair. Stop. Just let it go. Let it go. It's okay.
Yeah, what was that dude, the NBA player? He played in Chicago a little while, too. That Carlos Boozer dude. What the hell?
Carlos Boozer.
What the hell was that, bro? It's like...
Bro, that was insane. Stop it. Brothers, y'all putting on makeup now. That's what it is.
Jermaine Jackson?
Putting on makeup. That's crazy. I think that's like a mental illness or something. Listen, vanity will make a fool of you. Brothers, we see these women walking around with these painted eyebrows, and we laugh. Like, yo, come on, shorty. That's the Japanimation eyebrows. You know what I'm saying? This is the North Star looking ass. and women with caked up makeup, we made fun of them all the time. And now, got brothers walking around with tattooed hairlines. Look, bro, just embrace whatever's going on. You know what I'm saying? If you got money and you want to run the turkey and take your real hair and move it around, do that. At least that's real. It's your hair. Okay. I'm not going to hate on you. Or if you have alopecia and you're losing your eyebrows and you want your, then okay. I'll give you that because it's your real hair. But when you putting makeup on before a game or you slapping on, you sweat on your head, the glue's going to come loose. What made him think that was okay? What made him think that was okay? What, he thought he was going to have an early night and get dude out of there? No. I mean, that was Godzilla versus King. No, Godzilla versus King Kong was High Impact. They were just tied and laying on each other. It was a bad fight. And let me get back to the boxing and off this guy's hairline that's non-existent. You now see why he ducked Truck. You now see it. You now see it. Truck would have killed him, man. Big Baby off the pads is just a big target. He's not strong. He's not strong. All you got to do is take him past 3 or 4 rounds. And he's done. Hey. And he's not even crazy. Big Baby was never a power puncher like that. Big Baby, when he was on the pads, he just threw a lot of punches, which always made me wonder, and then you find out why.
Hey, I was behind the scenes. I was behind the scenes with the family yesterday, and I even came up with a new name for him now. Not Big Baby, but we could call him BBL Miller. You know what I'm saying? Because he coming out with this shit.
Wig Baby Miller. This is crazy. This is crazy. But honestly, man, you see now, and we never, by the way, Stormy, did you ever get a straight answer as to why that fight was canceled? It wasn't an injury. We don't know why.
We never got an answer why that fight was canceled. Never got an answer at all. Not like he came down with an illness or there was a injury or whatever. They just was like, he can't fight. You know, we'll disclose. They never did disclose it. They never did. And he went on, meaning Truck, he went on and fought Justice Hooney, remember? And that's what that was.
Yeah. Yep. Which turned out to be a high-impact fight anyway.
Yeah.
I want to see Hooney again anyway. But you saw, look, there's no version of Big Baby Miller that can compete with anybody in the top 10 in the heavyweight division. All of those guys whoop his ass. Last night was ridiculous. People always saying, oh, he carries at 317. Well, no, he does not. No, he does not.
First of all, if you 317, you just carrying it. Ain't no damn such thing as well, huh? Just say he's carrying it, cause that's it. You know what I'm saying?
That's all. If he gets into a serious program and takes 12 months and gets into a serious diet program and strength and conditioning, he's going to look better and he's going to feel better. A good weight for a guy that size, I bet you if he dropped all the way down to 240, he'd be a different person.
Yep.
He'd be a different person. But that last night, whoever's training him, he's lazy, man.
Yes.
He's lazy. He's Riddick Bowe minus the skill set. That's what he is. And he's running through there tired, and the only thing that's keeping him up is his size. But this guy, I'm not impressed. I think Turkey's hiring him to be a punching bag, and he's turning out to be Butterbean. He's a circus freak. And this is no disrespect to Eric Esch, but Eric Esch wasn't a ranked fighter. He was a sideshow. And that's what Jarrell Miller is. So, make your money, Bob. If you're not going to take this sport seriously, Miller needs to be walking around at 230, 240. He can get there. I'm looking at his physique. He can get there. He'd look better and he'd feel better. And he might get a little stronger. But walking around like that, those guys in this camp, they work on technique, and that falls short. They don't work on cardio. They don't work on any strength and conditioning. And he got off light with Daniel Dubois. He got off light last night because that dude at 280 didn't have no cardio.
No,
he was trash.
No,
but Fabio Wardley would knock Big Baby out in about 3 rounds, man. And that's being nice. This is ridiculous. He's a sideshow. Stop it. I think he needs to go sit down, but he'll always find his way on cards, especially last night. He's a joke. But get your money, though, bro. Get your money. And, I apologize on behalf of New York. I apologize. That was crazy. He's in there looking like George Jefferson. He aged in 1 round 5 years, 10 years. That was insane. Now,
What about just one last thing about the wig thing? Why was the top of his head fucking pink, bro? What was that? You know how if you ever burn yourself or if you ever took a real bad fall when you was a kid growing up and you skint your skin to the white meat
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
man, and you know that hurts, right? And it's like you see the white flesh, and then the blood will start coming after that. It's like he looked like I don't know if you was in the chat when I put the picture of Daffy Duck up there. Did you see it? When he got the top of his head shot off. Did you see it when I put it up there?
Yes. Yo, you know what I think? Well, when they glue those wigs on, they have to make sure they shave your head so that there's no hair there at all.
Right.
So it can stick to the skin.
Right. But his shit was two-toned though, bro.
It was two-toned. It was two-toned because he only had the top. He had sides. So they didn't do the whole head. And my thing is this, brother, if you're losing your hair, just shave it off.
Yeah.
Just shave it off. It's okay. That's what happens with men. Some men are blessed with like a blue blood hairline. Some of us are not. Just shave your shit off. It's okay. Because that shit last night was embarrassing.
Dude, if you were sitting up in the nosebleed section, you could see the top of his head.
It looked like a red dot.
It did.
It was awful. It was awful. And I unmuted the TV. The whole garden was buzzing like, yo, did you see that? And guess who had it? When he threw it off, guess who had it? Fabio
Worley, yeah.
I was like, oh my God. That was the worst.
Later, I saw an image on Instagram, and Scott Nicholson had it on her head.
Oh, they were passing it around?
Yeah.
Oh, this is bad.
Scott Nicholson had it on her head. She was like...
That's bad. That's bad.
Oh, my goodness, man.
Well, he seized the moment, and he rolled with it. But this is one of the things he'll be forever known for. And 2026 just got started.
Hey, what was that show, The Biggest Loser? That's fucking Big Baby, bro. Big Baby is the fucking biggest loser. He is. In boxing, it's like, it's him. And it seemed like he recycles this shit every couple of years, don't he?
Yeah.
He finds some way to come back and say, hey, y'all, how about this one?
Well, I know he's recouped the money that he lost when he was out the ring for 4 years. And he's going to get work after this. He might get a commercial deal. He might get a wig deal. I don't know. But maximize it, brother. That's all I can tell you. Because he's not going to accomplish anything great in boxing, in my opinion. And I say that respectfully because what I saw last night, a guy like, what's that guy's name? Kingsley eBay?
Yeah.
You're supposed to mop the floor with a guy like that. And respectfully, you know, I'm just talking about what I saw. It was not a good fight. Both of those men were tired. And Jarrell got this name, and he talk a lot. And look at what we're looking at.
I know.
This is bad. This is bad, man. And then we're talking about hair instead of the fight. This is crazy, or lack of hair. This is wild work. But you know what I wanted to talk about?
What was that?
Josh Kelly.
Yes, and I'm glad. Great segue because I did kind of want to get to that when I started talking about boxing because first of all, it's right up the alley of what we've talked about the fighters coming out of the UK. Secondly, this was something where you see where like Barou Murtazaliev had that effort against Tim Tszyu, and based on the success that he had with Tim Tszyu, you remember he kind of really dominated Tim Tszyu and obliterated the guy, actually made him look really bad. But you could see that he's got some ability, meaning Bakram, but one of the things that people forgot about is styles make fights, right? It's like it's how convenient folks throw that term around. But Josh Kelly came into that fight with Murtazaliev and a lot of people are not aware of Josh Kelly, but I've watched him, because I've watched fighters from over there. I've watched some of the Matchroom cards that didn't feature American fighters and stuff like that. That's how I know about Anthony Kakachi. It's like, because you watch him, you begin to see who's what. Now, I'll go ahead and let you say what you wanted to say about that, but I have something to add after you finish, which goes back to what old timers used to teach and say about fighters. But go ahead, bro. What you want to say about this particular one?
Now, Josh Kelly, I was able to, after the event, because there was a lot of boxing last night. So after the event, I went back and I was able to find it and watch it. Bakram, just that quick, he was a boogeyman. And nobody wanted to smoke with him. And just that quick, Josh Kelly stepped up to the plate. Now, on paper, you wrote Josh, well, over here, I don't know what they did over there. You wrote him off and said, oh, man, Bakram's going to get him. And then I read, oh, he won. I'm like, oh, okay. I went back and watched the fight. And here's what I noticed. Josh Kelly, number one, was fearless. He was fearless. And he showed up. He boxed him. And he knew the danger in Bakram's hands. But what he did, what I watched in that fight, was he disarmed him. He met him. He got to the weapon. And he tried to disarm him. A lot of foot movement. He dropped Bakram with a jab, caught him going backwards. And it was balanced, but when Bakram got up, you could tell he felt it. So what I saw was a really decent skill set, and he was fearless. Right there, you're in the game. Later in the fight, I forget what round it was, but he ran into some trouble. Bakram caught up to him, and I think he dropped him twice in one round. Nothing crazy, but it was enough to make him fall. I think, and I forget what round it was, but I think when Josh was on the floor the second time, he was just taking a breather.
Yeah.
Pretty much like a strategic knee, but he got knocked down. But he said, all right, let me just wait this out. The round ended. And then he got back to business. And he fought him in the pocket. When you fight bullies in the pocket, and you could back them up, makes the bully second think, well, this guy don't give a damn about my reputation. And we got to be honest, Bakram's reputation only comes from how he handled Tim Tszyu.
Right.
And to me, Tim Tszyu wasn't even a world beater. He just had a reputation, his dad's last name. And he was decent, but he wasn't a world beater. He just had a rep. And what Josh Kelly was what he was doing last night was he was beating the bully at his game, and he let the bully know, I don't care about this reputation you have. I'm here. And you in my backyard, and I'm going to defend it. And he did just that. And they got the right call. Bakram had a lot of problems with lateral movement and someone that clearly stepped to him. And Josh Kelly's a bit of a dog. He didn't fold, and I respect that, man. So if y'all didn't watch that fight, go back and watch it. And Josh Kelly, and now I'm going to get to the other part. He's British, so they were screaming for him. He's an Olympian, and I'll get into this thing. He's a handsome lad. He's white. He's a handsome lad. So there's a market for him. So keep an eye out. Now, before they hijack him and start saying he's the next whoever and start comparing him to retired Americans, and then we got to bring them back down to earth, I'm just letting y'all know, because that's coming. Oh, he beat Bakram, and no one in America wanted to fight Bakram. That's coming. Let me just say this. Before they hijack him, like they did Canelo, like they did Triple G, like they did, they didn't even give us a chance to accept Loma. They just hijacked him after one pro fight. Go watch the fight and appreciate what he did, because he did phenomenal work. And I want to see what he does next before they hijack him and start saying he's the next Sugar Ray Leonard or some shit. And that's my take on it. We'll talk about that later. But what do you have to add to that?
Yeah, what I wanted to add to it is that, he has a loss on his record already going into the fight against Bakram. And the fight that he lost was one of those fights where it was a guy that he was supposed to defeat. Let me see if I can pull it up on my other screen. It was a guy he was supposed to defeat, and pull him up as the champ. That was at 140, right? Or what? No, 154.
It was 54.
Yeah, Josh.
I forgot the guy's name.
Yeah. Now, he had faced David Avanesian, and
right.
He was down twice in the 6th round of that fight against Avanesian and got stopped because his corner threw the towel in. And that was back in February of 2021. They fought at Wembley, and it was for the EBU title, the European welterweight title. He had a bad cut on the back of his head from like a clash or elbow or something, and above his right eye. But it was one of those fights that it was like rough. You know what I'm saying? And I saw that fight. Kelly was touted at that time. They were trying to move him like he was gonna be their version of Oscar De La Hoya, basically, you know?
Right.
And that was the main event with him and David Avanesian. That was an Eddie Hearn fight. It was on Sky. Now, when his corner threw the towel in, he could have still continued, but he was looking really bad. He was, he had been dropped a couple times, and it was like they stopped it before. Like, remember when I talked about Santillan versus Norman Jr., and I was saying that Robert Garcia could have stopped that fight before the knockout, because once you let it go to that completion like that, your fighter never recovers from that. But if you stop it before it gets there, then he'll still have some sense of resolve, because it was stopped before he was depleted completely. And it's like he can always get to that, he get to that point in another fight. He could either try to fight through it, or he'll know that his caretakers are going to take care of him in that moment and recognize what the climate is. Well, going in against Murtazaliev, they knew he had a reputation. But when he went into that fight, most of the old trainers love for their fighters, before they win a world title, to have a loss or two on their record. And the reason being is because, first of all, they know what losing is, and they recognize what that feeling is when you're no longer undefeated, and that you had to come back and work your way back from something. So now you know how to fight for something. The other thing about losing a fight or two before becoming a world champion is you understand what it is to protect what you're going after or whatever. And also you don't have the monkey on your back, so to speak, of worried about, well, I'm undefeated. I don't want to lose my, my O and this and that. It's like you've been alleviated of all of that. So you could just go in with the clear mindset of what your game plan is and everything. And I could see him doing that in the fight. I could see him, he was moving, he was making sure he wasn't going to be available for Bakram. But then when he realized my hands are faster, his feet are slower, I can punch, and I don't have to take his. You could almost see it happening. It was almost like when Ray Leonard fought Marvin Hagler. You know what I mean?
Right.
Ray knew he couldn't stand with Hagler, And when he did, he got his shots off and grabbed him, or got his shots off and got the hell out of there. Well, that's what Josh Kelly was doing in that fight. And he did it very well. He still even took a shot where he went down. Remember? He went
That's
down.
right.
He was like, whoa. And he had to gather himself again and get back up.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
it was a show of the experience of having gone through something. And that was what, made a difference, I think, for him in the fight. And I'll guarantee you he'll be a better fighter now that he has the title, because he knows what it means to win it all, and he knows what it is to have lost that undefeated, what do they call it? The cloak of invincibility, Right. See, you don't have that no more, but you know how to cover your vulnerabilities. You see what I'm saying?
I call it failing forward.
Yeah, I've heard you say that.
Sometimes those are the best lessons in the world. So now you know how to handle it when you move forward.
Yes.
You correct it. That's why losses aren't bad. Being undefeated ain't everything.
Yeah, you can turn a loss toward a lesson and move forward.
Right.
But that's
right.
That's
and
exactly
that's
what happened.
Is,
and he did a great job. Kelly did. I watched the fight, and when he caught Background and dropped him, that was pretty cool too, because again, like that jab that knocked him off balance and he went down, it's like many people think you got to be a hard puncher. You don't have to be a knockout puncher. All it takes is a well-timed shot and a well-placed shot. You can make a fighter do most of the damage to himself, especially if he's stepping to you.
I remember watching a fight on USA a long time ago, and I'm glad you brought that up. And I wouldn't even know. I've looked at it on YouTube, but I don't even remember these guys' names. But this guy lost on the 3 knockdown rule, not because he was hurt, was because he got knocked off balance 3 times in the second round of the fight. The third round. The third round of the fight. And that was the rule. The 3 knockdown rule applies after 3 rounds. Third round of the fight, this dude was giving him angles, hit him with a jab, knocked him down. It was academic. He got up off the floor, did it again. He said, no, I slipped. He said, no, the glove hit you and you fell. That's academic. Before the round ended, he was lunging. Dude hit him with like a check right hook. He got clipped, and he went tumbling and fell on his face, and he wasn't hurt. He got up. That was like, no, it's over. That was the rules. So dude lost by way of the rules. He was never hurt, but he was knocked off balance 3 times. He was never hurt. It's the rules. That's all it was. So dude he outthought. His opponent outthought him. He lunged and stuff. It was ugly. And he lost by way of the rules. So he was all cussing and screaming. They had to mute the damn TV. It was funny. But it was crazy, man. But that was by the rules. So it's about skill set, man. And Josh did a phenomenal job, man. He did a phenomenal job. And there goes that aura of invincibility. Bachram is still dangerous. And if fighters need, we want to talk about blueprints, there you go. There you go. Go head up with him when need be, and you can outbox this guy. Now, I want to see what Bachram has learned from this. I want to see what he learned. He's not done.
Yeah.
But
it was a good fight, and like I said, I even had picked Background, going into the fight based on what I have seen from Kelly in the past. Like you heard me mention his loss to David Avanesian, but at the same time, I wasn't picking Background based on that alone. I was just thinking that, having been without an opponent for a while, which is a factor of what we ended up seeing, to look at it a different way. But he was anxious to get in there and to fight and show why he's the champ or whatever. Even threatening to drop down to 147 to face Devin. It's like he's talking his stuff, feeling himself. But it was great to see that a fighter gave you something that you didn't expect of him, and that was Josh Kelly. Kelly had a game plan. He stuck to it. As he saw his successful outing in it, he believed in it more, and he fought through even the difficulty of being dropped himself. He didn't lose confidence. He kept going and he persevered. That's what boxing is all about. That at the end of the day, you applaud and celebrate those guys like that, because guess what? He literally got it out the mud. He wasn't gifted anything. He wasn't given a title that was vacant, and he had to fight a so-called soft touch for a vacant title. He had to go through the man that people was calling the boogeyman to get the title, and he was successful. And you have to take your hat off to people that win in that regard. And see, there are so many out here who want to celebrate guys who ain't done a damn thing. But here's a guy whom, again, they wasn't giving him a chance, and he came out with flying colors. You know what I mean? And had lost by stoppage and became a world champion. Julian Jackson lost to Mike McCallum by stoppage and still became a world champion, right? It's like, come on, man, it happens. It happens, but you turn a loss into a lesson.
J-Rock Williams got smoked by Mel Charlo, came back and absolutely beat the crap out of Jarrett Hurd.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So things happen.
So that's the great part of the sport, when you can see someone turn a corner and come back. People saw Evander Holyfield get beat up in his title defense against Riddick Bowe. That first time out, he defeated Bowe in the rematch, and then later still came back when people thought he was done and everything, and he whooped Mike Tyson. You know what I mean? It's like, at some point you have to give a person their flowers for being resourceful, not just because a door closed that they didn't find another way, you know. And that's what I respect about guys like that. I really do. So
yeah. Well, Stormy, let me run. I gotta do some things here, and we'll catch up tonight, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate the call, man.
No problem, brother.
All right. Take it easy. Peace. All right. That's the brother Drew Titan calling in with some great conversation on the Josh Kelly, Bakram Murtazaliev fight. Great fight there, you know. And, somebody else want to call in. Oh, here we go. Okay, we got 347 calling. Who's in the building? Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
How you doing?
Good. Who is this?
Thomas. What's going on? Who else?
Hey, Tom. Your name doesn't show up. I just got your number.
Oh, okay.
Some people's names show up, and some people's just the number shows up. What's good, man? How you doing, Tom? And I didn't catch that you. Oh, how you doing? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What's good with you, man?
No, man. I just, everything's good. I'm a little tired. I was at the fights last night. I felt like I needed to come up here. I was trying to come up before. Yeah, I was clowning Jamel Miller, and as he should have been clowned, right? Because he's a bozo. And then that part, like he when it first happened, I didn't even laugh. Like I was more shocked and embarrassed for him at the same time. Like it was bad. Like the whole crowd was just like laughing, like in shock,
Yeah.
But and you could tell he was embarrassed because we saw him later that night at the diner, and he was just with like two other people, and he didn't really want to be bothered and stuff. But we left him alone, and he kind of, because we walked in the same direction, but he went to the same hotel, but he didn't go through the front. He went through the side of the back or something, and it was like, oh look, it's Miller when he got to the elevator. But I wanted to talk about the good side of New York because, I was very happy for my guy, man, Bruce Shushu Carrington.
Yes, sir.
That was a great performance, a great ending. I was very, very excited for him, man. He is definitely the best fighter out of New York right now, and the most level-headed, the most humble. Like we have Richardson Hitchens, but I don't want to get too much into him. Skill wise he's good, but he's kind of a bozo too. But it was great to finally have one. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to talk about him. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked the efforts of what I was seeing as the fight. I think I saw Shushu's fight up until the 7th round, and then the crew of people I was watching the fights with elected to switch over to the Zayas card, and I heard Shushu got a 9th round stoppage, which is great for him. And I'll tell you something. 2 things are going on with him. Either he probably needs to go up one more weight where he could be a little more solid on his feet and everything, because I think he's at featherweight right now. He got the WBC featherweight belt. Maybe at super featherweight he can show himself to be a little bit stronger. But when he gets hit, he kind of freezes a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be, like I said, it could be a weight thing. I'm not ready to call him chinny or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes those guys at featherweight, they can crack because they have a combination of 2 things. You can just be a solid puncher, but you're fast at that weight too, because those guys are small. They don't have a lot of muscle mass, and it's like, but that's something that I've seen. But he also is willing to take on challenges. And that's always a good thing. When a guy wants to face a challenge, wants to show that he's for real or persevere and things like that. So he does have those qualities that are setting him in the proper direction. And I salute him also for finally, achieving world title status. And he wasn't in there against a pushover. That kid could fight too. That Castro kid can fight, man.
Yeah. Those guys from Arizona are pretty tough. And we saw that in the Stephen Fulton fight. In the fight I thought he won. Yeah,
I did too. I'm glad you said that, because I was going to say it myself, but I felt like he beat Fulton, and he had Fulton on the canvas too.
Yep.
Yep.
But it was a great moment to see. He definitely wants to. He's not like these other guys. Like, he definitely wants to fight the top guys. One of the good things about Shushu is what he did was, because he had some trauma he had to deal with when he was younger. With his brother being killed. He moved out to Vegas. He got away from everything out here. So he lives a much better life over there. I think he's a vegetarian as well. And I agree with what you said. I think he does need to move up weight. I think he's killing himself at this weight. I mean, he looks good, like he looks shredded up and everything, but I think he would be much more comfortable, and I think he would be able to box a little bit better and more fluently if he moved up maybe one more weight class. I think in his mind, he definitely. So like when we saw him at the hotel, he said that they're looking at Nick Ball, but that Nick Ball has to fight Figueroa, so they're looking in that direction. But for the last couple of years, he's looking at fighting Inoue. Like they've kind of putting his name with Inoue. So I don't know if he's killing himself at weight to wait for Inoue to move up to the next weight class. So, that those 2 names is kind of tied. That name has been kind of tied with Shushu for a couple of years now. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I think he should move up. I think he got his dream, being a world champion, and I think moving up to 130 would be great for him.
Yeah, and I think he should forget about Inoue, and I'm going to tell you why. A couple reasons. One, Inoue is like, 32 now, going on 33, something like that.
Yeah.
And wherever he fights next, even if it's against this fellow countryman that they're talking about, but he may go up one more time, but he'll be looking for something. I don't think he's going to be looking for a young gun like a Shushu. So that might be a train that's passing for him. But there are still other challenges to be met around the corner. It's like when these guys are trying to pick who they want to fight, I don't like that. I like when the fights present themselves. See, like, look at 140 right now. Look at how, just in a couple of fights, the division has changed. You know what I'm saying? And it's time. And what I don't like about certain things, like you got guys like Shakur and Keyshawn, you know, they're not going to fight each other. So why are they still around the same division and all of that kind of food? If you're not going to fight each other, move on. Do something different. But there are other fighters who should get notoriety and acknowledgement, like a Frank Martin. You know, I want to see Frank Martin get a chance at a title shot. I want to see him in there against someone that is, you know, a good fighter and he can either show himself to be real or show himself to, you know, be the next one up or whatever the case may be. I don't want to hear people just talking about, well, you know, oh, he'll beat that dude easy or that guy beat him easy. You know, I don't want to hear that stuff no more. It's time for these guys to get in the ring and just fight, man. Because like I said, going into the Josh Kelly fight with Bakram yesterday, nobody saw Josh Kelly winning that fight like that. Nobody saw Josh Kelly knocking him down. Nobody saw anything like that. This is why you got to have the fights, because you just don't know at the end of the day how things are going to play out until they mix it up.
I agree. I agree with everything you're saying. As far as 140, Frank Martin's got a tough fight. Like, this is a good. He's fighting Albright, the kid that beat Keyshawn's brother. I think he's a good, solid fighter. He was competitive against Keyshawn as well. I think that's a good test. You know, but we want to see that 140. These guys are not fighting each other. These guys are fighting like once a year. You know, we already know about Hitchens. I think Hitchens is a great talent, but you know, he don't want to fight anybody.
Yeah.
You know, and then Keyshawn, we don't know what he's going to do now. He's talking about going to 147. Listen, if he goes to 147 and fight Dev, I mean, I'd respect it, but I don't think he's ready, you know, to fight him. You know, I respect him for wanting to do that, but you know, we got to see if he really does, you know, pull through and follow him on his word.
And I'm gonna tell you something. He's talking about going to 147 because he want to fight Devin, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you got a guy up there that could step right in the way of that and be like, no, you got to fight me first. And that would be Brian Norman Jr. Because Brian Norman Jr. is the next best thing at 147 right after Devin, because he was considered the man before Devin beat him, right?
Yep.
You see how that plays out? It's like, now do you think Keyshawn want to face him?
Nope, I don't think he does. You know, these fighters now are just looking for that big payday too. You know what I'm saying? You know, I do respect the fighters that do want the big opportunities. You know, if they're going to really go in there and try to put on and, you know, try to go in there to win, not go in there just to show up. You know, I respect that a lot. I personally don't think, you know, he's ready for those challenges just yet. But I respect it. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, you have these other guys at 140, you know, Antoine, you know, Russell, I don't know what's going on with him, his promoter. They fight like once a year. You know, when he talked about Hitchens, you know, let's see what this guy does that just beat Matthias or Dalton Smith does. You know, let's see if he fights anybody. I think he's going to take a voluntary against somebody in the UK or something like that, you know. And I know they're trying to build the other guy from the UK, Azim, who I like. I think he's pretty good, but I don't think he's ready quite yet. I think he just pulled out of the fight, you know. So, you know, 140 has a lot of good names. I think there's a lot of good talent, just like 126. Going back to what I said, I think there's a lot of good talent in 126. You know, I like my friend's fight out in the Dominican Republic. Jan Santana, I like him. You know, I think he's a good talent. You know, we know Keith Colon is a young guy. He's, you know, he just started. You know, he's a featherweight. You know, featherweight got good names. Espinoza, but you know, when is Espinoza going to fight somebody? You know, Nick Wall's fighting Figueroa. That's a good fight. I just don't understand how Figueroa gets another opportunity. But you know, let's see what happens. But yeah, there's fights to be made in a few of these divisions. You know, and it's just guys are just not trying to challenge themselves and fight the top guys.
Yeah, that's just like Morataya, you know, defeating Andy Cruz, in which he got a decision. But if you, I don't know if you paid attention to this, but after the fight, he spoke as if he like whooped Andy Cruz's ass or something. But he didn't. He just won a decision. But it's like you the one that looked like you was beat up. even though you said he didn't, his punching power didn't bother you, but your face was all marked up because you couldn't get out of the way of his punches. Now, what that tells me is that you can be hit, huh?
Yeah.
And so there are other fighters in the weight division that could face Murtazaliev and give his ass a run for the money. You know, and I mean, even a guy like Schofield, who is not the most confident dude to fight, regardless of what they say. Well, we'll fight anybody, but they, you know, him and his dad,
they don't want.
they play these games. But if he would have hit Murtazaliev, he'll knock him out because he can punch. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And there are guys who are punchers, guys who are volume guys. There are guys who are solid. Like, I consider Abdullah Mason a solid fighter and champion now because he has a title. But, you know, there are other dudes that Herrera guy, he's pretty doggone good. Javier Herrera, he's good.
Yeah,
man.
He's good. The Japanese guy that's just going to fight Gary Antoine is good too. That's a good fight.
Yeah. So what's his name? Utsuki? Yeah.
Or Hiroka or something like that. It's a weird name. I think he's half African, half Japanese. I think he's from Ghana, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but there's some guys, bro, in that weight class. And then you got other people who, you know, who kind of stepped back and fallen off a little bit, but could still be in there within the fight. Like Edwin De Los Santos, he's still around. You know.
Yeah.
That other kid, what's his name? Chavez. Is it Abel Chavez? Alan Abel Chavez? Yeah.
I'm not too sure, but I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and of course Sam Noakes is still there, and Lamont Roach is still listed in the 140-pound division, so we'll see. I just know that if guys just start getting it on, it will clear itself up very quickly. Inside a year, you can have a division, you know, just stating exactly what it is. I didn't like the fact that Carlos Adames pulled out of the fight. I didn't like that.
Me too.
I mean, I'm so sick of that kind of stuff happening, man. Really. I think when these guys, and especially centered around events centered around the weigh-ins, and guys not making weight or getting sick beyond the weigh-ins and this and that, I think they should suffer a loss on their record.
I have no problem with that. I think so too.
You know,
I don't like it. You had two Dominicans do that because Adames did it, and I was looking forward to that fight because I don't think Animal Williams is as good as people may think he is. So I thought Adames was going to school him. It would have been a good showing for Adames if he would have made it. But you know, he's been inactive as well, right? I don't think he's fought like once in the last year. You know, it might be even longer than that, and that's what's just killing him. And then on the other side, you have a young prospect who I like a lot, and he probably would have got a title shot if he fought last night and won. You know, he got sick too, and it's probably because of weight, and that's Rohan Polanco. So I don't know what these guys are doing. You know.
Well, you know what it is, man. They're trying to cheat, and when I say cheat, I'm not talking about cheat to win or whatever. They're trying to cut the corners. Like, you got to train, bro. It's a discipline staying on weight. It's a discipline being able to cut weight properly and make weight for your contracted fights. And they are relying on these supplements and these different things that these so-called nutritionists and these people, you know, dietitians are telling them to do for fights. When it really comes down to two things, you've got to watch what you eat and everything, and you got to stay in shape and stay ready for fights and fight more frequently. When you want to take a year off from boxing or something, that's a different thing. But if you're in a current situation where you're active and you got a title to defend or you got a title that you're contending for, You have to. There's a certain expectation of you as a professional that requires you to do what you're supposed to do, and there's a lot of fighters not doing that. A lot of fighters, and at the end of the day, guys missing weight and stuff like that. This is what you're seeing. Look at Janibek. Janibek, a couple years ago, he had that situation where he passed out at the weigh-in, remember? And they had to cancel his fight. So then he pops dirty recently, and in that situation is like when they was considering like maybe Bud Crawford might fight him, and he gets suspended for that or whatever. It's like, dude, you know what they're doing? They're trying to cut the corners instead of being disciplined. They want to walk around in full health and everything, and then they say, oh, we got a fight coming up April 4th. And it's like, okay, I know I got to lose 20 pounds. Well, I'm going to go in the gym, start training, but I ain't going to start on my diet until XYZ date. And they be trying to target the date, and they get closer and closer. Then they realize, oh, shit, this weight ain't coming off. You see what I'm saying? And then it's like...
No, I see it, yeah.
Nope. The old fighters didn't do that, man. They stayed disciplined.
No, they didn't. And part of it too is some of these fighters are not really fighting at the weight class they should be. They're trying to be weight bullies at the same time, you know. And so that's killing them. And you're seeing it more and more with a lot of these fighters, you know. And it's already bad because, you know, I think boxing is in a good state right now because I think we're starting to see some good matches. Starting to see the younger guys come up and take, you know, you're getting more publicized and, you know, making statements. But the problem with boxing is the inactivity in a lot of these fighters. They're not fighting, you know, more than at most twice a year, and it's a shock if they fight even more than once. And a lot of these big name fighters, and it's not fair to me to say big name, but I mean they got bigger names than a lot of other fighters. And I'll bring Hitchens into it because I think Hitchens is a perfect example. Are only fighting once a year, and that's bad. That's terrible for the sport. You know, because he's a champion. He's supposed to represent, you know, himself, the division, and go out there and challenge and fight the top guys and stay active. You know, and in the old days, they weren't doing that. These fighters were fighting 3 times a year, especially at the smaller weight classes. You know, the big heavyweights would fight like 3-4 times, but then in the lower weight classes, they would fight like 3 to 4 times a year. And you're not seeing that anymore.
Like you just mentioned Hitchens, right? Now, Hitchens, who did Hitchens beat for his title again?
The guy that beat Matias, the Australian, was it Barou?
Yeah, Liam Barou, right?
Yeah.
Now, if Barou had, I'm trying to look in, I'm looking up the divisions now, because that's 140, right?
Yes.
Okay, I just pulled up Hitchens. Now, he beat Liam Barou. He fought George Kambosos in one defense of the title. And he's slated on the 21st to face Oscar Duarte. So, Barou, that was in December of 2024 when he defeated him.
Okay.
Barou has already fought twice since they fought, and we're now in 2025. So he's slated to fight again, but he doesn't have a fight on the schedule yet. Hitchens fought once since they fought.
Yeah.
What I'm getting at is this. You can see how some fighters are active, and then other fighters are trying to protect something or hold, you know, it's like they're trying to hold that O, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that. And that's who I want to see gone. I want those guys the hell out of my sport of boxing because they're the pretenders. They're the pretenders. A guy like Liam Barou, nobody expected him to defeat Matias, and he did.
Mm-hmm.
And when Matias got in there to face, what's his name, just beat him, Dalton Smith. I knew Dalton Smith was going to defeat him because Dalton Smith is better than Perro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like
I did too.
Yeah.
And to be fair, because I think we spoke. We did speak.
Yeah.
To be fair, I didn't think Dalton Smith would beat him the way he did, though. You know, but I thought I did pick Dalton Smith to win.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, Dalton Smith didn't really. He started fighting Matias' fight, which he almost got out of there by doing it. But at the end of the day, he stopped.
But sometimes a guy has to take a chance and a risk, you know, sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And he did, and he came out successful. I wouldn't tell him to make a career of doing that, but what it showed, just like with Josh Kelly and his victory yesterday, is that the UK fighters are now realizing, hey, as long as I got a heartbeat and a desire to try to win, anything can happen for me. Some of the Western fighters think that they're supposed to be awarded and anointed before accomplishing any damn thing. How that paradigm got shifted like that, I don't know. But it's really bad. It's really bad because there are some guys who think they should be, you know, accredited and they haven't done anything, like Richardson Hitchens. Yes, he can box, but he hasn't faced the opposite guys who could show him a thing or two. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, it's like he hasn't faced those guys that can be like, he's gonna test my chin and things of that nature, like a would Hitchens ever fight Pitbull Cruz? Nope. No, he wouldn't. And that's a fight he could possibly win easy because he can box as well as he does. But it's not the type of threat that he would take on unless you're going to pay him an exorbitant amount of money, which he hasn't even earned, or no one has that type of consideration for him. You see what I'm saying? So that's a fighter that's holding things up. Now, you take a guy like a Lamont Roach who's willing to fight anybody. I like that. You know what I mean? Even if it's to his detriment, it's like I still like the fact that he will take on a guy. But, you know, I don't want to see Lamont Roach fighting everybody. I want to see other guys mix it up too. Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's like he's not the only guy.
1,000%.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, Hitchens is going to fight a guy. He's a big puncher, but he should watch this guy. I mean, this is the second straight fight he's fighting, you know, guys that really don't deserve title opportunities. You know, he fought Kambosos, who was on his last legs, and they fought because of social media, because they were drawing back and forth. Like, what does George do to deserve really a title shot with Hitchens, moving up from 135? You know, and then now he's fighting Duarte, who could be a little bit dangerous, but I just think this is not a top guy for Hitchens right now. Like, you know, he should be fighting one of the other champions or another top contender. But, you know, and you know what? He could get caught with something, and then we might see if he really got a chin or not. And he may not come back from it. So, but
yeah, and you look at it like this with Duarte. You know, if he couldn't handle Ryan Garcia, he shouldn't be able to handle a guy who is a lot more athletic and, you know, has better boxing ability. Now, Ryan, even in that fight against Duarte with the stupid shoulder roll crap that he was trying to do and all of that, Duarte wasn't able to land his vantage punch on him. But who knows? Hitchens might have a mental lapse in there and give his chin up. You know, it's like, those are the kind of things that, as Kurt used to say about intangibles, you just don't know if it's going to happen. But Hitchens should be favored against Duarte, you know.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be a huge favorite. But it's just like, you know, yeah, he could be dangerous, but that doesn't, being dangerous don't earn these title shots. And, you know, fighting at this top level, you know, and, you know, this is a second straight fight where he's fighting kind of like a voluntary. You know, I don't think he's a mandatory in the idea. I mean, it's kind of a joke. And and Hitchin's been talking about so many other fighters, and he's not fighting any of them. He's talking about Keyshawn. He talks about Shakur. Shakur wants to be friends with everybody, so I get him out of there because he's another one, right? And Shakur's a great talent, but he wants to be friends with the world, and then he wants to fight Haney. He's not fighting Haney. He wanted to fight Seal. He didn't even fight Seal. And they have the same manager. But in that case, the manager didn't want to fight. He didn't want his two guys fighting each other. I can understand that too a little bit. But at the end of the day, Hitchens has got to step up and fight somebody relevant in order to to be taken serious. I see the talent in the ring. I think we've all seen it. But you got to test yourself and fight the top guys. This is the second straight fighter that really doesn't deserve a title opportunity in his fighting. It's bad, man.
So let me ask you, what are your thoughts on your fellow Puerto Rican fighter there, Xander? His
I didn't get to see the fight. I didn't get to see it. I knew it would be a tough fight, but I didn't get to see it because I was at the Garden, so I missed all the fights.
Oh yeah, that's right. You were at the fight.
I did see Bachram. I saw Bachram and Kelly before I left.
Yeah.
So that was good. I was mad at myself because I was high on Kelly the whole week. And then I submitted my picks because people, were laughing at me like, no way, and I picked Bachram last minute. But I was high in Kelly. I said I think he could really win. I think he could outbox him and beat him. And I thought the decision was just. I thought he won the fight. I thought he did run a little bit too much in the like after he got dropped in the night, and he kind of held on a little bit. But I think it was too late. I think Kelly won at least easy the first 6 or 7 rounds or something like that. So. Bachman was playing catch up at the end of the day, but so I did get to see that, but I didn't get to see the Puerto Rican card. I heard that Xander won a split decision.
It was a split decision, which I found interesting. I think they just made it a split decision. Excuse me, based on like they didn't want to make it seem like just because he was in Puerto Rico they give it to him unanimously. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But he did box his way to a unanimous decision in my eyes.
Okay.
Barou appeared to be slow for the way that Xander was fighting. And when he would let his hands go, he was effective, but he didn't do it enough. He boxed behind a high guard where he was in pursuit of Xander 3/4 of the fight. Every once in a while, Xander would step to him and, get some shots off. The 12th and final round, they basically fought that round almost toe-to-toe. So that was very interesting. Would have been a thing to figure out, what if more rounds like that happened? That would have been interesting, But, I felt that Xander won unanimously, not split. And
okay.
They showed a lot of respect for each other after the fight because they are familiar with each other. So it's like it looked to me like Barou was just a sacrifice for Xander because
he was happy to be there, like happy to.
No. I mean, he was a sacrifice in meaning like this was probably the easiest way to become a unified titleist because he knew the guy. He knew the guy. Mm-hmm. I think that Xander is a very vulnerable guy. I think he's, I don't know if that he takes the most solid shot, and he's not going to be able to have the advantages over everybody like he had over Barou. And
no, I agree.
That's going to be a thing. There are fighters out there that he could fight, like that kid is that Jesus Ramos. He could fight him, and some other dudes. But can he beat Fundora? I don't think so. Can he beat Boots? I don't think so. I think that he and Virgil will be a very good fight because Virgil is a fighter that will bring a physicality and a presence of being in pursuit like Barou, but better. He's better than Barou. So that would make for, if he could get past someone like Virgil, then that puts him in a different class. But will they fight Virgil right now? I don't think so. They're not going to do that.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, so and again, now he's got 2 titles. Is he going to sit on it? And I don't know, man. It's like,
well, I'll tell you one thing. I think Xander wants to fight that because I don't know if you know, they were trying to make Xander fight Santillan as a voluntary, and Xander didn't want that. He said no. He wanted to take a tougher opponent. So I guess Barou was the tougher opponent. And to his credit, I think he should get credit for that because they were trying to set him up with Santillan moving up to 54.
And Santillan fought, and I saw him on one of these cards. Which card was he on? Was he on the top ranked card? Yeah,
I think he was supposed to be on that card.
Yeah, he opened, I think, because the fights came on a little early in the afternoon, and I was watching, and he don't look good. He won, but it's just like I was talking to Drew earlier in the first call. When Santillan took on Brian Norman Jr., there was a point in that fight where I felt like Robert Garcia was supposed to stop the fight. And he didn't.
I heard you, yeah.
And he didn't. And he let that guy go all the way till Brian beat the fight out of him. And then he was stopped, and that was it. You don't never let your fighter get to that point where the fight is beat out of him. You take that onus off of him so that he can come back another day. Santillan can still beat some guys, but as far as fighting that type of fight that he had against Norman Jr., he'll never be able to do that again. Because that's like having 5 fights in one night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate. Yeah. And I respect Robert Garcia for being a better trainer than that. You saw him jump up in the ring and put that stool in there for Erickson Lubin when Lubin was being demolished by Virgil Ortiz. He reacted very fine. He was supposed to do that for Santillan. But I'm going to tell you something. That Mexican pride got in the way. He was fighting a black guy. No, I'm serious.
Yep.
He's fighting a black guy. He wanted to show we got cojones and we're tough in it. No, you take your guy out of that situation, just like I would say the same thing for Norman Jr. if he were in that situation. His dad should stop the fight before his son has all the fight beaten out of him so he can come back another day. See, that's the thing that some people forget. It's not a freaking video game. On a video game, you can go till this is over. But in real life, you don't want to go till it's over. Just like Deontay.
Just imagine. Just imagine if they, it looks like they were trying to serve him up for Xander. Just imagine if Xander took that fight and it was Xander versus Santillan last night. People would have crucified him.
He would have. I believe that was probably an easier fight for him than Barou, because Barou has good defense. That peekaboo defense high guard that he fights behind and fights off of. The only thing that Barou didn't do enough of was throw more punches. It was like Xander's movement kept his hands at home, because he was constantly moving after him, trying to get within a certain range to throw the certain punch. And in those instances, you just got to start opening up. And you'll see when you watch it for yourself, you'll see what I mean. But but in those instances where Xander decided to stand and fight with him, Barou got down with him and maybe even got the better of him in those. But there was only a couple of occasions. The last one was in the 12th and final round, and I could see Xander was trying to please the crowd and stand and fight a little bit. But Barou, that's where he make his living, in that type of situation. And I got my scorecard right here. I think I gave Barou the 12th and final round. Yeah.
Okay. I've got to watch it. But I mean, I'm happy that he won. And I feel like, even from his last fight, watching him live, when he won the title,
and he looked big too, man.
He might have peaked. Yeah, I think he might have to move up.
He looked big. I mean, over Barou, it's like when they were standing there, when they come together for the ref's instructions, I was like, shit, he looks a lot bigger than him now. It's like they may have weighed in the same, but not on rehydration. It's like he looked a lot bigger.
Yeah, Xander's a big boy, you know. I feel like he may move up to 160 eventually, but you know, we'll see. I mean, there's some good fights he made at 154, but I don't know if he beats those top guys either. I mean, I'll be rooting for him, Stormy, but my cheers is not going to help him win. So, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean.
And there's something else. It's like he moves, but he can't box and move. Do you understand what I mean when I say that? It's like he got a good jab. He's sharp with it and everything. He can throw good combinations, but that whole thing of transitioning, it's like he finds it difficult, and he's going to have to figure out what his style is. Personally, I think they're trying to have him fight like where he's kind of being fluid and on the move and everything, but I think that he may be better off fighting more like the way Trinidad used to fight. But he's got better arsenal of punches and better mobility than Trinidad.
Better legs.
Yeah, and he's bigger than Cotto, you know. So it's like, you know, Cotto, when Cotto would get into that little bouncing rhythm that he used to do, and pumping his jab, he was good. But Cotto wasn't a big guy. he was kind of little, you know. He was little. How tall is Cotto? About 5'7" or something, 5'8"?
I think it's something like that. He might be like my height. I'm short. So
yeah, because you know, he's not, you know, and Tito was a little taller, you know, but like you said, Xander, he's a big kid. He's like 5'11" almost or something like that. So it makes for a different space covering range and distance when you're like that. You know what I mean? So
it's funny. It's funny because you know, I've obviously seen Xander. I've met Xander and spoken to Xander. Last night I actually saw Boots and met Boots for the first time. So they're about the same height. Boots is a bigger guy than I thought. You know, so it'd be interesting. But I think Boots is going to end up fighting Josh Kelly anyway. So.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. That ain't necessarily an easy fight for him, because Kelly has hand speed, and he got pop. That ain't Karen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
That ain't Karen. And he let Karen hit him a lot. If you let Kelly hit you, you're gonna go down or even get knocked out. Because that guy got pop on his punches. Just like Boots got pop on his. So he should not be trying to just let the guy, you know, do something to him so he can have a, you know, have like lure him in or something like that. And if he finds himself having to chase Kelly, what will happen is you put yourself in a position you could get caught, just like Bakram did. Bakram was in pursuit and got caught by that jab, knocked him off balance, and next thing you know, he getting up off the floor.
Yeah, and listen, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, it was a flash. But you know that jab had some sting on it.
Yeah, he hit him in the chin. It was the chin, because that's what made his legs go. It's one thing to be off balance, but you get hit on the chin, bro, and your legs do something. That's a total different thing. Because it's a shock to the system.
Acknowledged it. He acknowledged it because he smiled at him and he acknowledged, like he got him. Like he was buzzed a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, I was very impressed with Kelly, and I was very mad at myself because I kind of saw that fight kind of happening like that. I didn't think he would drop Bakram, you know, but I thought that Kelly would get tired late and that Bakram would break him and eventually get him out of there. And then I actually picked the 9th round too, and that's when he dropped. I was like, oh snap! I might actually pick the right round. But you know, credit to Kelly. I think he survived. I thought Bakram won the last few rounds, you know, but I think Kelly just had too much of a big lead, you know. And like I said, I think the first 7 rounds, you know, I think he won 6, if not all 7 of the first 7. So.
I want to take a quick moment and acknowledge a Cash App donation from my brother Eric Jordan. out there. He says, my favorite day of the week, answering the bell. Appreciate you, Eric. Thank you so much for your donation, bro. Appreciate that. But yeah, what did you think about T.O. and Shakur, that fight?
Well, after the concert, because it was a whole concert, and once the concert went on, I knew that T.O. was going to get washed. It's just like he just came in there, like, doing all of these shenanigans with the music. It was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. To be there and the different music that was playing, and then having those guys. It was pretty good. But once he came out dancing with those guys, I knew it was over, and I thought he was gonna get stopped. I thought he was gonna get stopped. I didn't think he had any chance. And Shakur had a master performance. I got to give it to him. I think T.O. is very. It was proved that T.O. is very overrated, and T.O. is very athletic, but he doesn't have anything on the jab. He's just like he didn't do anything. And then I thought Shakur was very focused. He didn't let anything get under his skin, and I thought he dominated. He hurt T.O. multiple times in that fight. You could see it. Mm-hmm. You could see it. And then I didn't see anything about the corner, but people were telling me about the corner, because obviously you can't hear and see anything, that you guys see on TV. But his father's just a moron, and, listen, they got what they deserved. And, it was an embarrassing performance by T.O. and a great performance by Shakur. That's basically what it comes down to, Shakur looked good. Shakur looked great. But I just think T.O.'s very overrated, so.
Well, this is the thing about T.O. First of all, he's a very poor character individual. Poor character. Mm-hmm. And that will always show up at some point. But his dad, they come along to a certain degree and a certain point, but then he needed some real top flight trainer coach relationship where he can elevate. His dad is an anchor and an albatross around his neck. He's not going to be any better than what he is because of his dad. And that's unfortunate because these dads that are involved in these fighters' careers of today, some of them have done a good job of bringing their sons through the amateurs and everything, but the pro sport of boxing is totally different. And there are elements of the fight game that they need some experienced people to help them. And not only when it comes to teaching them the ins and outs of the sport, strategies, game plans, tactics, and so forth, but you realize and recognize how far they fall short when you look at, like, what I noticed from the first round last night with T.O. being in there where Shakur was. His foot positioning was way off. He allowed Shakur to have his lead foot outside of his lead foot, and he was always at a disadvantage with Shakur's jab as a result of the footwork. And it was like it's like he had never worked on it. It was like, how can you go through a whole 8 to 10 to 12 week training camp and not understand your foot positioning with a southpaw? I'm watching this and I'm like, at one point he almost stumbled into Shakur's punches, tripping over his foot. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. Watching this, it's like this dude it's like he never sparred any southpaws in the gym.
Did you see him switch to southpaw a few times in the fight?
Yeah, which was even more.
That was hilarious.
That was even more dumb, because it's like you're not even a fighter that, man, it's just, he had no answers.
I was sitting with a friend of mine at the fight. He's a fighter. He's a pro fighter. My man, Ofacio Falcone. He fights at 130. And I'm sitting with him, and he's like, T.O.'s shadow boxing with himself. He's not doing anything but shadow boxing. He's not hitting anything. It was embarrassing.
Yeah. And Shakur was ready, and at least Shakur had mentioned something that a lot of fighters need to take heed of what he said. He said, I studied the guy. I watched game film on him. And it's like, you need to do that. You need to watch film, if only for you to learn what you're looking at. Because it's one thing to sit there and watch fights, right? And you think you know what you're looking at. But it's another thing to be watching those fights and have a coach, trainer, mentor sit there and tell you everything that's going on, breaking it down. I had given Shakur a high compliment a few years ago. This is probably about 5 years ago. Do you remember when he was, I think this was when he was still at featherweight. Do you remember when there was a fight where it was a guy from his gym and he worked the guy's corner? Do you remember that?
No.
Yeah, there was a fight where Shakur worked the guy's corner from his gym. Something had happened. Maybe it was his granddad supposed to train the guy or whatever, but Shakur ended up working the guy's corner. And I thought that was very admirable for him to be so young like that, and he worked that guy's corner. And it was a situation where he showed boxing IQ doing this. It was a young guy, too. It wasn't a major fighter. You know, it was a young guy, just a couple pro fights or something like that. But Shakur was still doing it. I was like, now that is something that's pretty cool, because it means that Shakur is a student of boxing, where he's watching and he's observing and he's learning and taking things in. Somewhere along the line since then, he's allowed this egotistical thing to get in the way, where he thinks he's the greatest boxer in boxing right now, and he's done very little to show that. And beating Teofimo Lopez doesn't accentuate that. It just means you beat Teofimo. You understand?
Yeah.
He needs to face other opposition out there, primarily Keyshawn, Devin, and a couple of other guys that he needs to fight to have that certification. I'm not giving you nothing if you don't work for what you're supposed to have. It's like, I'm not gonna just pass that on to you like, oh yeah, you're this guy. No, you need to earn that, bro. And you don't earn it just by, and everybody patting you on your back because you had a good performance against Teofimo. Teofimo has been looking to avoid fighters like Shakur and Devin and Tank Davis and everybody, because he never was confident enough to feel that he could defeat those guys. He never had the type of teaching and training to put him in position to win against guys like that. He was always going to beat the C-rated fighters, but he has struggled against the B-rated fighters. So if you think of an A-rated fighter, you know he has no chance, right? So it's like, did I just not easily break that down? There it is.
He got a couple gifts, too. A couple gift decisions, like Sandor Martin.
Yeah.
Even Jermaine Ortiz. I thought Jermaine Ortiz beat him. And I think, listen.
Nakatani. Remember Nakatani?
Oh, the Nakatani, yeah. The scorecards was way off of that fight.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
They even didn't call one of the knockdowns against Sandor. Mm-hmm. Sandor put him down twice.
Twice. It's just, listen, people are not going to like what I got to say because it's about, and they're going to be shocked at what I'm going to say because people may think I don't like the guy. But I think one of the reasons why TL took this fight and didn't take the Devin fight is I think he felt that Shakur couldn't really hurt him in comparison to Devin, because he got paid like $8 or $9 million for this fight. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And it's probably going to be his last payday for a while. I think if he would have fought Devin, because of the way Devin he's sitting down more on his punches, Devin might have stopped Teo, and I think Teo kind of knew that. In my humble opinion.
Well, Devin has a different mental disposition too. Yeah. He has a different one, because we kind of talked about that as we watched the fight last night. I think it was the 9th or 10th round of the fight last night with Teo and Shakur. And Shakur was talking to somebody in his range. He wasn't saying it to his cornerman, but it was somebody right outside, and he was like, "I'm gonna stop him. I'm gonna stop him." And it was funny because I say, "Oh, he's saying he's gonna stop him," but that's not his temperament. So when he went back out to fight, it looked like he was trying to be a little aggressive, but he was being cautious at the same time, which means that he wasn't going to be able to do what he was going to say he's doing because that's not who he is. Devin is different in that regard. If Devin feels that he could get you out of there, he's going to go for it. And the thing is that I don't think when he fought Brian Norman Jr., that he wanted to knock Brian Norman Jr. out. I think when he put him on the canvas, he was very happy with that because they had said at the face-off that, Norman Jr. was saying that you can't knock me down, or whatever. And it was like, because Devin was saying something along the lines of, when he was questioning about his power and this and that, he was like, what about when you go on the canvas? And he was like, you ain't going to knock me down, whatever. And then that's when Devin said, remember this day. Remember he said that. And
What if I put you down?
Yeah, and when he did put Brian down, you see him stand over him like that as if to say, hey, what you got to say about this now? And he went right back to boxing. It wasn't like he was trying to stop the guy, But I do believe he has something in him that he can flip that switch. I don't think Shakur has that. Shakur has a safety first, safety second, and safety last mindset in boxing. He will box you. And that's okay because you got, a temperament of a fighter is what it is. But, a great fight would be to see him have to face somebody like Pitbull Cruz.
Yeah,
because
he's just going to make him work a little bit more.
Pitbull going to be all on him like a bad suit on Easter. You know what I mean? He going to be on top of him. And he going to have to fight. You know what I'm saying? It's like he going to have to fight. And that will be when you can see, because you all these guys you could just simply outbox and outpoint. That's like cruising. It's like cruising and never putting the car in a fast gear. You know what I mean? It's like you don't even know what's under the hood because you just driving down the street playing them old Carpenter songs and stuff. La, 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 la. And you just going down the street, It's like easy going. But we want to hear some da-da-da-da-da, dun-dun, dun-dun, da-da-da-da-da, ba-ba-ba-ba-bad, to the bone. It's like, you know what I'm saying?
No, I 1,000% agree with you. I know what you're saying now. You know what I mean? But listen, I thought it was a great performance. I just think Teal a little overrated. They were definitely unprepared. I think somebody, Junior True said that. And I saw some clips of the corner. His father's a clown. And I think he got extremely humbled. And I don't think you see Teal again fight this year. I think you won't see him until like next year. I don't know if he stays at 140 and moves up, but he definitely got humbled, and he was embarrassed. He was definitely embarrassed last night. But you could see why he took the money to fight Shakur and didn't take the money to fight Devin. He was looking for that one big payday. I think he knows, he's limited. He hasn't performed well since the Loma fight. And remember, in the Loma fight, even though he won, that second half of the fight, he lost. A lot of people remember what Loma did in the second half of that fight in comparison to what Theo did the entire fight. So, listen, I think, and it's good. Get these guys kind of out of there. I'm not I think Teal's okay. I don't hate Teal as much as I hate like Ryan. Ryan is a guy I cannot stand. I just don't know how anybody can like a guy like him. So Teal is a little bit more. I think Teal's just like a bad clown. Like he thinks everything is funny. But that's how I kind of take him. But he definitely got humbled and embarrassed, and good for him. And it's good for Shakur. I don't want to see Shakur fight Conor Ben. I think that's a clown show. I don't want to see that. Nobody cares for that. Fight one of the guys like Hitchens. Fight your friend, Keyshawn. Fight Devin. These are the fights I want to see.
Yeah. So But I
But
thought
it's always been. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to cut you. I gotta go because I gotta get ready I gotta do the radio show in half an hour. But it's always great talking to you. I really appreciate you letting me come up and speak with you. It's great having the combos. I love talking boxing with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely,
Definitely
man.
want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to come talk.
Yeah, absolutely, no problem, man. And I appreciate when you call in because we can have these conversations. And I think that the people, they tune in and they listen and they can say, well, these guys are really talking boxing, you know what I mean, as opposed to just saying a bunch of angled stuff. So, but yeah.
Exactly. We're talking boxing. We're not arguing. We're not screaming. We're not going crazy. You know, we're having a discussion.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I appreciate the sport for what it is. I really do. You know, I'm a guy, and I think me and you are kind of similar. You know, I think with me, I think I overly like everybody. I really appreciate what everybody does in that ring. You know, even if they're jerks or not. Like I just love the sport, and you know, and I have my biases, but you know, I call it the way I see it. I've always tried to do that. Like I said, I think Matias Walter Smith is a perfect example. You know, I like Matias. I always like Matias. You know, but I just think he was limited, and I picked Walter Smith to lose. I mean, Walter Smith to beat him. And then I'm in the bar hanging with Walter Smith after the fight. So with my Puerto Rican hat on, you know.
And you know what? There's something.
Sport, you know, so
there's something else about that too. Real quickly about Subriel. He's limited, but I'm gonna tell you something. The granite has been broken now. He is going to be susceptible to more knockouts because you can't take punishment over and over and over again until you get to that point where one shot cracks through and then that's it. That's the end. You know, that happened to Joe Joyce. They were calling him the Juggernaut and everything, and he was taking all those blows from various fighters, and then Zili Zhang broke through. You know, I think that Dalton Smith benefited from something that Puello was able to do. Puello was hitting that guy with a lot of shots, clean, crisp shots, but he's not a knockout KO puncher, but he's an accurate, well-placed punching guy. And, you know, he beat up on Subriel, but he lost that decision.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was there. And of course, like I said, like I've been saying for a while, my cheers and you know, my fandom's not going to help these fighters in the ring. I thought Matias lost. I thought Puello beat him.
Yeah.
I was there with Stephen L. DeMac. Stephen L. was there with me.
Yeah.
And we both thought Puello won. You know, we thought Puello won. We walked to the concession stands before they even announced the victor. So, you know, and then when we heard it, we was like, what?
Yeah, you see, that's one of those things, again, like I can keep it real when it comes to stuff like that because I don't have a dog in the race. And even if I did, I still would keep it real. It's just that, you know, but these bad decisions like that. Now, Puello's going to come back and beat somebody else. Just watch. He is, because he can box. You know what I mean? Yeah. But, yeah, man, you go ahead. And, again, thanks for calling in and have a great show that you're going to do this afternoon. What time is your show?
Well, no, this is a radio that I do with my friend Pedro Fernandez. It's his radio show, so I go with him. It's like satellite radio and stuff. So it's at 2:05. So we, you know, So it's his show. He always has me on every Sunday for like a few segments. So
yeah.
It's pretty cool. It's funny because Pedro's a funny guy, and I always break his chops with fighters. And I met Iceman for the first time last night. John Scully. We linked up before the fight and we spoke. And I saw Junior Jones, and we were talking about Pedro. And he was like, you know, Pedro's a character because Pedro used to write articles for the San Francisco Chronicle, and he worked with Don King. Pedro's been around a long time, and he has so many stories. So Iceman's like, yeah, Pedro's good. Pedro, I've seen Pedro. He does extend the truth a lot. He lies a lot. And I was like, yeah, I think he does. His stories are so good that it can't be true. He's like, yeah, he lies a lot. You know, Scully can tell good stories too, and Scully tells it the way it is. So we had a good time. I think I'm gonna break his balls a little bit later. Not on the radio, but tonight I'm gonna break his balls a little bit. Yeah. That's what that is. It's a radio thing that we do. Well, not we, that he does.
Yeah.
So.
All right, well, that's cool. Well, I hope you guys have a great show, man. Yeah.
All right, bro. I appreciate you, man.
All right, you take it easy.
All right, take care.
All right, peace. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's Thomas from the Bronx calling in. Having great conversation there. Man, we're already at the end of the show, man. It's like, it's been 2 hours already. That's what we do, man. That's what we do. Call in show. Trying to figure it out. To the family out there, I didn't get a chance to announce your names over the airways because we had our conversation cooking real well. We had Hen Dog out there, Universal Truth, Black Martial Arts Society, Boxing Fan Times 4, Mahari Nation Sports Podcast, Antonio MMA, I Am Trill Will, The Cali Enigma, Bayberry 69, Rod Neal, K _ Junior the Truth, Jose Diaz. I appreciate everybody that came out. You guys were out there in the chat. If I missed you, charge it to my head and not my heart because we were cooking in our conversation. So, just know, just trying to close out the conversation there. So, yeah. Well, yeah, man. We had a lot of fights this past weekend. We got fights today. Listen, there are fights on this evening, man. The Zuffa Boxing 2. And that'll be when Rayo Valenzuela takes on Torres. Paramount Plus. You guys can tune in to that later this afternoon, early evening. Boxing around the clock. Boxing around the clock. Oh, K _ I had turned it off. You can try again. Try one more. I'll take one more call. K _ Go ahead, bro. Try it one more time. I'll take one more call. That's my brother K _ KG. Go ahead. All right, we got 804 in the building. That's the brother KG. What's happening?
What's happening with you, Stormy? It's been a minute.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's good?
How's everything? Look, I heard you talking with Thomas, so and and it's like you covered everything, or for what the portion that I caught, I didn't catch everything that you guys were talking about, but you guys seem like you guys covered the real meat and potatoes of it all. So I guess I can talk to you about the side stuff that went on during the event.
No. If there's something else that you heard us cooking on, if you had something else to add or whatever, it's not a problem because, the conversation, it flows. What he wanted to talk about specifically, what I asked him or he asked me, you might have something of the same subject, but it may take us in a different place. So I don't mind.
Well, I guess let's talk about father-son corners, and it's not like the bash T.O. Senior, but at the same time, you remember the Devin Haney and Brian Norman fight when we had Brian Norman Senior everywhere talking, and then when he got to the fight, it's like he wasn't giving real, you know what I'm saying? Oomph.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where's the people that can't keep neglecting the fact that T.O. Senior is not a good coach?
Well,
and it's like I don't like to kick him like that, but anytime I can hear his corner, it's always, hey, bro, you know what you got to do, bro? You just got to throw punches, and you got to throw some more punches, and you got to.
Well, this is.
Can we talk about that?
Well, yeah. Well, I kind of alluded to that last night when we were watching, and I was saying, what in the hell did they hire Stacey McKinley for if you're not going to let him coach the fighter? Because the man has a wealth of experience. He's got fighters who have lived and retired and from a older generation than T.O. So he's got so much experience that T.O.'s dad could never even compare to. You don't bring a man they're going to pay him anyway, but it's like you don't bring a man in there that has that type of resume and experience and not utilize it to benefit you. I'm quite certain he could have had T.O. doing some things against Shakur that would have been beneficial to T.O.'s performance. But the dad stood in the way of that. Why couldn't he bow out like he did the day of the presser, huh? When they were saying, he wasn't feeling well. Well, don't feel well on fight night and sit your ass down somewhere and let your son have a chance at winning a fight instead of just no chance of winning. Because
or allowing Stacey to project through you. Let Stacey talk as the damn round is going on. Hey, man, I see this. This is what your son needs to do. And then you project. Allow the man to project through you.
No, listen, bro. Man. You hired the man. Let the man do the job. Listen. He ain't no damn bodyguard, okay? You hired him to coach and train your son. And that's that.
But let's take it further back than that, Stormy. Even if Stacey's in this corner during the fight, during this camp, what were they working on? Because I heard you and Thomas speaking on, it showed that it didn't look like he sparred or worked on against
fighting a southpaw. Yeah. Foot placement was all off.
Yeah.
Shakur's.
I got my reservations about foot placement because I am a southpaw, and I knew me and you could have turned that into a real conversation last night, but I left it alone. Sometimes when you're actually inside, you're still closer to your target, and you can bait and then pull.
Absolutely, but what I was saying was I noticed that he didn't know anything or display anything regarding his foot placement, and that's why he couldn't do anything to Shakur and couldn't get out of the way of what Shakur was doing to him. That doesn't mean that he had to have his foot outside all the time. One of the times he was trying to do something to Shakur and tripped over Shakur's foot because his foot was inside.
He was so buried.
And when he was lunging, he tripped forward into Shakur, and Shakur just kind of put his defense up and step back while he stumbled forward, more aggressive fighters would have yanked him when he came in like that, because he would have been running into the shots. You know, but I mean, listen, the best place to fight a southpaw is in close.
Yeah.
Because when you're in close, you can take the southpaw advantage away. See Evander Holyfield and Michael Moore's second fight.
Shakur had him so buried. He had him buried so deep into that dominance that he was found stepping over him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you have nothing. I'm like, and Papa Moses said it best. He said he's not athletic. He's acrobatic. And I was looking for him to utilize those dance steps, but I'm like, you haven't yet to dance with a southpaw, obviously. So that's what it showcased. And then, like I said, I know we giving Stacey the praise, but I'm like, what was worked on in camp? You know what I'm saying? Like, why wasn't this pointed out in camp?
Hold on. I wasn't praising Stacey. I was not.
Not you.
No. Because you say we giving Stacey the praise. Listen, if I do praise, I'll let it be known. But I'm acknowledging they paid this man to train Tio. The night of the fight, he wasn't even allowed to be much interaction. Even when he was leaning over the rope, the ring apron, he was present, but his voice was a non-factor in what was going on. My thing that I just said was, if you're going to hire a guy, let him do his job. Don't bring him along and then cancel him out. And even when they did the post-fight in the ring, the man was standing there present, but it was like they didn't want to listen. First of all, if it were me and they came to me for help, I would have denied them. I would have turned them down, because I can't get beyond the racist remarks and everything that he said, and that was disrespectful to my people. And an apology ain't gonna get it either, huh? You need to walk a different path in life. Just keep on walking away from me. That's what I say about that. You know, and the dad, who does have reputed substance abuse issues and things like that, allegedly, that stuff shows. Because he's inadequate. He's inadequate. This is a world-class boxing match that your son is involved in, and you don't even have a 1/10 of what's necessary for him to compete at this level. And people have paid pay-per-view dollars for this shit show that you got conducting in the corner every round, in between rounds. You see, I put it plainly and succinctly like that because this lets you know, anyone and everyone who's a part of the process, how it affects everybody. I paid to watch this. I paid to see your son give that effort. I paid to hear you say the trivial things that you said to your son that is not going to help him even get out of a wet paper bag. What are you doing? These are the kind of things that should be addressed and talked about and thrown down. Now you guys are $9 million rich or whatever, and whatever comes out of that your take-home cut and everything is gonna be depleted even more, because the dad gonna run through that with his substance abuse. And then that boy gonna have to get his ass back out there and fight somebody else and get kicked in his ass again. Because he ain't learned shit. See, that's the messed up part about all of this. And I speak for people who are in those kind of circumstances who want to elevate. See, it's kind of hard to hear the truth when people don't have mirrors. You know what I mean? It's like, don't want to look at themselves. But you can tell when somebody walking down the street and they ain't had a mirror in their home to check themselves before they left home and see that their tie is crooked or the outfit ain't matching and don't look good together and all of that kind of stuff. But you got a lot of people out here like that.
Exactly. That's true. That's true. I'm just saying, he missed an opportunity, him and his son. Like, you shout out, you know what I'm saying, the fathers that's in boxing that can bring other coaches around and make them better.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, come on now. Ain't that what you're doing it for? Because it's the longevity. If you leaning on your son, you was them with the alleged substance abuse problem, something should click that I need to keep the damn the donut machine turning. If I can't do that, then what are we doing? You messing up. Like, I don't know. I think T.O. I didn't have T.O. winning this fight in no way, you know what I'm saying, no way, shape, or form because of the way he fights. He fights in spurts. But I was like, he's going to show a better counter to stuff based off of what Dad has evolved to or what they brought in with Stacy. So I was like, maybe we're going to see something. I couldn't give T.O. a round. And I think you gave him the first round, but I haven't went back and revisited that first round. But I got so caught up in the rest of the fight, I'm like, this was a wash.
Yeah.
Like nothing, no gears got changed, nothing. And I'm like, even if nobody else understands the language of T.O. Senior, T.O. Female Jr. understands that language. So what was supposed to click in his mind that Dad is actually serious about that? I need to get out here and do something. I'm going to regret this tomorrow. And all this, like, or do I just not have it? It's I don't know, man. It's a slippery slope.
Well, the thing is, the kid has talent. But
Correct.
If you don't have someone to bring you from, like, you know, let check this out. Now, some people may agree with this, some people may not. You may even not agree with this, but I'm just going to use this as an analogy. LeBron James was one of the, few players in basketball that came from high school to the NBA, right?
Yeah.
How much better of a player do you think LeBron could have been had he gone to, like, North Carolina and been coached by, the famous coach there, or Duke by the famous coach there, and learn to play the game at the college level and possibly competing for conference championships and even an NCAA championship for a couple of seasons, even if it's just 2 seasons. How much better could he have been having gone through that process and then going to the NBA?
He would have been, like my first initial thought to that, he would have been Tom Brady. Remember how Tom Brady, he came in last, like in the 6th round, but he came in and was able to adapt to a system, but it was already a system that he was already being groomed to. So I think LeBron would have came in groomed to that college, whatever system format, the philosophy, and he would have been force driven more so off of that because of him being able to then implement that whole philosophy.
And you learn the game. You learn the game from sages who can teach you the game. You know what I mean?
And they would have built it like that.
They would have taught him certain things. They would have taught him how to use fouls in game. They would have taught him how to position his feet when he's playing defense. They would have taught him different things that are taken for granted, right? But people want to equate him now as the greatest, ball player or whatever. Not by far, because you got guys out there like, and you've heard it said, Michael Jordan, they talk about Michael Jordan, but at least Michael Jordan had 2 years of North Carolina, huh? No, he had 3. I think he had 3, right? Didn't Michael go North Carolina for 3 or 2?
Don't quote me. I can't quote that. I know he was there.
Yeah. I think Worthy did 3 and Jordan did 2. I'm not sure. But anyway, what I'm trying to get at is this. As great as Michael was, Kareem had 4 years at UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
Huh? Under that coach. And Kareem is like probably the greatest center of all time. Probably. But people think about Wilt because Wilt could score and dunk. People think about Shaq because he was powerful in the paint and this and that. But Kareem Abdul-Jabbar developed a shot that nobody could block. Nobody
could block.
And played damn near 18, 20 years. You understand? And could shoot that shot from anywhere on the court.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, John Wooden mentored Kareem in college. UCLA was dominant. All I'm trying to say is the fortification of a specimen participating in sports can always be drawn back to who's mentoring and shaping them and bringing them along. Because if the talent is there, they can go from something to something special. But if the coaching and prep and mentoring is not there, they can just go on potential. And potential could be like a shot in the dark, huh? Just missed the moon, just over the horizon, just over to the side off the track. You see what I'm saying? That's how it shoots. But with that mentoring and proper steering and structuring and things like that, and also being able to receive it, all of a sudden now, you're on a certain kind of path. And then your character and resolve and everything determines the fortification of that, how strong that is and how convicted you are and this, that, and the third. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I tell my daughters that I go through that with the process of my daughters. I say, you just got to trust this process.
Yeah.
My daughter was telling me about her one of her races. She was like, Dad, am I starting slow? I'm like, yeah. I said, because you're not trusting your start process. I said, you're scared of your first step. I said, and then after that, I said, you trying to get all the way to your top speed max point instead of going through your process. And she'd be like, but I said, no, look at the video. Proof's in the pudding. I said, listen to what the coaches are saying. I said, we know you're fast on the back end, but you got to work on the process to be fast on the front end. I said, it's all about thousands of a second, hundreds of a second when it comes to track. It ain't full seconds sometimes. Trust the process.
Mm-hmm.
You're working at it. Yeah, but she's in the 8th grade, and she placed 4th out of, it was like 52 girls that ran the 300 meters, and she placed 4th. And
wow.
She was wondering why. Yeah, and I said, they got 4 years of this. Just I need you to trust the process. I said, understand that Dad was an athlete, and the information I'm giving you, things that I show you, the coaches that I put you around. I just understand the process. Like Junior the Truth always say, take the meat from it and throw away the bone.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and you grab what's necessary. You're not going to like what's being said by everybody, but understand these people have been put in certain positions because of what the results they can get.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and like I said, people got to understand that process. And back to the Teofimo situation, at this stage, I think he's still young enough that he has to make that transition because he can get some juice out of that damn raisin. He can get something out of that because he's talented with that premise alone. And I'm not even looking at his outside of the ring antics of things that he say. But as far as what you can do in the ring, you can get better, but you got to reorganize your house, man. Got to. And you got to reorganize your mind in the process. You try to talk as though he's this Zen-like character and this. You don't have to promote that. Just be it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. So I
don't even think that they'll consider bringing someone else in, they're gonna ride this thing till the wheel fall off, and that's very unfortunate because he's still young enough to do some things, but again, the poor character is what's gonna always hold them back anyway. So, and that's not my concern about them. Good riddance is what I have to say, especially since they had those things that they had to say about my people. So I don't care. You know what I mean? I really don't. And Shakur, I want him to tighten his character up because he's still young enough to do so. He can also tighten up his boxing game because he's shown us that he can outbox people. Now it's time to show us that he can provide a level of separation where he can assert himself a certain kind of way to let the other party know that they can't compete with him. That's his next stage. He got to work on that. And if he does that,
he got to trust his hands a little bit more.
And if he does that, he can easily elevate up higher in the pound for pound rankings, and also he'll have to consider certain type of opponents in the future to face that can define what his strengths are in the sport. So that's what I see for him, you know. But his character is not real strong either. And
no, it's not a lot of them this generation.
Yeah. It's a shame because there's a couple. I even look at Brian Norman Jr. and I got a lot of respect for him for making a change and getting rid of his dad. And that doesn't mean everybody should get rid of their dad. I am not trying to imply that at all. But what I recognize with Brian Jr. is that he said he saw what didn't work and he immediately did something about it. He didn't walk around with a soiled diaper, huh? He wanted to change and get rid of that stench, huh? Yeah. Sometimes that's a hard thing to do when everybody trying to pretend like they don't smell something.
I've always said this, you know what I'm saying, in any aspect of boxing. This is about the fighter. You have an expiration date at some point in time if it comes to the point that fighter said, this is about me, this is the steps that I'm here to take. I know you put me into a position from here, but at this time, this is my career. This is my decision. I'm deciding to fight this person. I get the decision to sign this contract. So at a certain point, we have to accept the expiration date. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes, and you got to humble yourself. I can't, and it's not saying it's time to get rid of me. It's just I have to accept the fact I can't teach you anything that you know what I'm saying, beyond this point. I have to accept that. So I have to call Stormybman up and say, hey, coach, I need you. Can you come help me out? Can you even, if I want to be secretive about it, hey, Stormy, can you teach me behind the scenes just to guide me or something before I actually think about bringing you in and work something out? Yeah, you get what I'm saying? Something. Work out something, but I can't keep leading that I know, and I don't.
Right.
Because I'm lying to myself now. I'm lying to myself. So it's like you have to face that and understand this is about my son or the fighter. This is who it's actually about. It's not about me. I have to accept those damn walking papers when that day comes. Or I need to keep myself current as possible. Or bring in help. You know what I'm saying? I actually bring in another voice to teach you how to swim.
Right.
Sometimes then you've got too used to my voice and you think I'm going to save you. Or it's just I can't tell you anything beyond a certain point. We have to come to that conclusion. It's about the fighter.
Yeah, man, that's it. Yep. That's it, pretty much, right there.
It's hard to swallow, but hey, man, ain't nobody ever died from swallowing that damn pill, that pride pill. Just swallow it. Get out the way. It ain't about you. It is not about you. They tell you that when you raising your kids. It ain't about you no more. You know what I'm saying? When did it come about you? Get out the way. It's time to move around. Accept it.
I agree. Yep. Yeah. I agree, man.
And I'm prepared for that day when it comes to my daughter tell me that I don't need you coaching me, I don't need you as far as this or whatever. I got to coach this far. All right, cool. Obviously, I've done my part. Now I get to sit back and enjoy it and spectate now. I don't have to be stressed out wondering if you're going to, no, go ahead and do your thing now. Now I know you can ready to fly. Go ahead and fly. You know what I'm saying? I'm here for the ride now.
Right. Yeah. That's what's up, man.
But I ain't going to hold you too much longer, Stormy. I just wanted to jump in real quick and talk some kind of boxing with you, but like I said, from a different aspect sometimes. Because like I said, I know the whole father-son trainer thing is blurred. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Sometimes we don't know what's going on behind closed doors. Like you just don't know. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, just know it's a slippery slope because it's emotional. Because it's complete ties there.
Right.
So.
Yeah, man. You know, also too, man, is like we see. I'm trying to get my thoughts together here. We see elements of where there's success in that, like the Haney connection. They're good. The Mason connection has shown themselves to be quite solid. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that others are not or whatever, but it's like we've seen the blueprint for what can be progressive. And even examples of when someone feels like a change may need to be made or an addition needs to be added, don't be afraid to make those moves. That's important. And there's a lot of resentment and jealousy and opposition toward the successful elements of that, instead of people, like you say, swallow that pill of pride and say, man, you know what? I've observed how you guys have done what you've done, and I really would like to learn how to come up. I would really like to learn how I can elevate and grow beyond where I find myself, because I've seen your success, and I would like to be able to try and enjoy some for myself. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But it takes a hell of a person to be able to admit and acknowledge that someone else has been more successful, and you would just like to learn how you can be so yourself. One of the biggest selling literature readings is a how-to book here in America. You'll find they got how-to books on so many different things, and they're New York Times #1 bestseller because people want to know how to be told to do something. But they don't want to admit to it. But there you go. How is it the #1 selling book? A how-to book. And if people ain't reading no more, they go online and they go to YouTube. How to fix my carburetor on my car, how to put air in the tire, how to do this, how do I do that, how do I change a faucet in my tub, and all. You right? Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what people do. Always have.
I take you real quick, yeah.
So in boxing, they can do the same. It just requires a little bit of humbling oneself and to be able to look at things and acknowledge, okay, I'm not where I would like to be, but I know that I can get better and get to a better place than where I am presently. That's all. Yeah.
That's when I realized what I guess me being a man was when I was willing to ask for directions. I said, I don't want to be that guy that's riding around in a circle. Look at that guy. I'm like, because he won't pull over to the side of the road and ask somebody how to get to where he's trying to go. So
Yeah.
you know what? I think it makes me a man to go ask because I look silly.
Dude, do you know how many people have met their fate just with that mental block? It's just ridiculous. When all they had to do is just try to ask, try to find out.
Find out. Obviously, somebody knows something that I don't.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't know it all, and I can't. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. And if you do know it, teach me, please. Show me. Yep. But it's been a good one, Stormy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate you calling, man. I hadn't talked to you in a minute, so it's good. You know, I'm still here. I didn't do a post fight last night because I just got tired. It was so much fights, man. I was like, man.
Yeah.
I probably been to past 3 o'clock in the morning. I was like, no. I'll just instead of doing the post fight show last night, I'll do the post fight / call in this morning. And it's like kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Shoot.
Yeah, because I think when we started watching fights at 2 o'clock yesterday.
Yeah.
2 o'clock in the afternoon and well into midnight. I'm like, oh man.
And then there was fights Friday night.
Yep, I missed a lot of those.
Yeah, Pro Box, and that card was like 4 or 5 hours, because it started like around, I want to say around 4:30, and that went on to about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock that night. It was crazy. And then guess what? We got fights today.
We got the Zupa card today.
The Zupa card today, this afternoon, this evening, yeah. So it's like, boy, we had a weekend of boxing. I don't think we ever had these many fights between Friday and Sunday. I think this might be a record, man. It very well may be.
Crazy. And Zupa said they're going to put on fights every month.
I'll try to be there. You hear me say try, right? I'll try to be. Stormy might be dozed off somewhere like he overdosed on boxing. Shit.
Yep, and you already one of those guys that watch enough of it on Dazn. That's just random, so shit.
Yeah, because, dude, they went from they used to advertise 180 fights a year. Man, it's well over 200 now on Dazn. So it's like, do you know that there was a fight card going on while the fight cards last night, the Josh Kelly, there was another fight card on.
I wouldn't doubt it.
On Dazn. And that wasn't even the Shakur card yet. I was like, man, look at this. This is boxing, bro. But listen, a couple of years ago we were saying we want more.
Yeah, you want more? Here. You know what I'm saying?
So, yeah, I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it. So, yeah. But, yeah, man, don't be a stranger, bro. Just call in when you're ready to, talk some of this. I'm here, especially coming out of the fight weekends, because that answering the bell, that's my Sunday show. I want to do that. But I opened this episode up talking about Big Baby and that damn man unit.
Oh, man, yeah. I said the internet's going to have they're going to run the marathon with that one. I already know that's coming because everybody's already running their laps with that one. So.
Man.
And I know we're going to talk about it today on Usual Suspect Sunday. So I'm already knowing. So yeah, so that's a topic in itself.
I'm gonna be listening too. I just want to laugh some more, man. It's like,
oh yeah, be prepared, yeah, because that is coming. Yep. I'm trying to get back into the swing of things. Reaching back out to fighters and stuff, but to bring them back on, tell some more stories, tales from the B side.
Yeah.
And I had a real conversation. I just had, coincidentally, you know what I'm saying, who was sitting with Thomas Ofacio Falcone. That was the last conversation I had. We chopped it up, talked about PEDs and the Ali Act and some things of that nature. So, you know what I'm saying, and where he is in his career and where he thinks he should be and where he's trying to be. So, but yeah, so other than that, man, just you'll be hearing from me as long as some good fights. You know what I'm saying, Stormy, you already know. I tap in.
Yes, sir.
I definitely tap in and I call you up. You know what I'm saying, and get the people. You know what I'm saying, a good conversation between you know what I'm saying, you and I when it comes to this crazy thing that we still love called boxing.
Yes, sir.
Until next time, champ.
All right, man. You take it easy.
All right.
All right. Peace. All right. That's K_ calling in. Rounding out the show, man. That's great. We had a great call-in show today. Like I said, Zuffa Boxing, Valenzuela versus Torres later this afternoon. That'll be on Paramount Plus. If you guys haven't had a chance to check that out, Zuffa for their first card from 2 Fridays ago. Check them out, because they're going to be well on their way doing what they do. I look forward to these extra or additional boxing shows. So, but trying to see here. I appreciate everybody that tuned in this Sunday too, because we had a lot of people out here today. Thank you for the support, the Cash App donations. Appreciate that. Those who decided to subscribe, appreciate you as well. And we will be back next Sunday for another Answering the Bell. I want to say, as we get prepared, shout out to the mighty LDBC. Take it easy, everybody. Just get on out of here. I like this little jazz riff that's going here. I like that one. Yeah, Ravens Nation, I did give my thoughts on that. I did. When Thomas called in, we talked about it. Roll it back. Peace to everybody now.